time I could call you mine. I don't know why I'm being the one feeling stupid. I'm feeling stupid now. So now it's time for the goodbyes. Everything dies for the sunrise. Oh, you're alive. It's time for the goodbyes. Everything dies for the sunrise. Oh, you're alive. Oh, you're alive. I'm gonna shut my mouth when you say what's on your mind. I can see the pain in your eyes. First I'm left, then I'm right. Don't know how to keep my calm. Baby, don't you tell your lies. It's time for the goodbyes. Everything dies for the sunrise. Oh, you're alive. Oh, you're alive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 3 for FOF. We got RLS versus Pentakill Teemo, please. I'm Spencer Ultravox Cameraman, joined by the one, the only Edgeworth himself. And let's jump right in with the bands flying up.
Yep, you can't get rid of me that easily. I was in for 2, I'm in for a 3rd, and we're seeing the bans come out from the likes of Really Late Sign Up, yet another iteration of the name. Really enjoying their creativity. We see the Tristana and the Fiddlesticks taken away from the likes of Pentakill Teemo, please, answered with the Trundle and the Zed for Cowrie. I think I might be missing something with the new additions to the roster for RLS. Interesting band so far.
Yeah. It has been instructed to us to mention that this is the 4th unique iteration of RLS so far this season. So 4 games, 4 different team configurations, and they're all still first pick and Sivir.
I mean, you can set your watch by it, dread it, run from it. The Sivir arrives all the same for RLS, and it looks like, ever since Sivir got reworked, there's really, as far as we've seen here in Friend or Foe, which is not quite professional, we're semi-pro for sure, but as we see, it's not quite professional play. Sivir comps do just be kind of working. Vayne is, of course, the classic answer, which I'm excited to see Pentakill Teemo, please. If they can get this Vayne going against the Sivir, that'd be really something to see.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a signature pick here for Let's Do Vanal, of course. So really want to see how this is going to work for Pentakill Teemo, please. How they're going to be moving forward with this draft right here. Are they going to have an Enchanter to maybe pair with this, keep Vayne safe? They're going to opt to draft the Volibear, get a little bit of Engage going on. I do like that. Very safe jungler. Also still pretty strong in the meta right now.
Yeah, and then for sure, with the Volibear coming out, War Leader is going to take that as a bit of a challenge. I'm always interested to see what this guy wants to pull out of his pocket. By typical notion, they're going to take it slow, laboring the draft, making us wait for their picks. The Zac comes in. War Leader is on the Zac duty. We've seen a lot of that out of him in the last couple of seasons to great effect. So I'm interested to see what they round out. There's no Brendan. Did someone check on Brendan out there? He must be in shambles.
I do kind of like this versus Vayne, though. You just get another separate character in the lane that's dedicated to auto-attacking and harassing her. It's going to make it so hard to play the lane for Let's Do Vanal. So I hope that they'll be able to survive. It's going to be one hell of a struggle to get through the early game.
Yeah, I mean, what's better than one ADC that outranges you? How about 2? So, and especially the Senna is going to outrange you at every point in the game and get even further away from you for the likes of the Vayne. So yeah, I think Brendan's nightmare is going to come to reality here on the side of RLS. We see Seraphine picked up as the answer. I'd be interested to see if Sundara is going to be piloting that or if it's going to end up in the hands of the support, being the Enchanter by the side of the Vayne as we get into the second round of bans. What does Pentakill Teemo please have in mind as they ban out the Diana, which I find interesting since Zach is already on the table?
Yeah, really, really interesting there. Maybe they think that Diana could be a mid lane pick or Zac can be flex top. Not really sure what the thought process is, but will be banned regardless. I do like the Camille ban as well. One of the things you want to do to beat Sivir is just play side lanes. Super strong, right? You kind of avoid team fighting the incredibly strong team fighting characters and play the side. So Camille, great target right there. Last two bans going to be locked in. It's Malzahar from RLS and Ari from PTP.
Yeah, I really like that RLS has the foresight for whatever they plan to put into this top side here. It must be something that they're afraid of the Camille absolutely dive bombing from the red side. You have the helpful walls to get you in there. You can use the blue side walls to your own advantage to follow up with the E, and it does turn out to be the victor in the mid lane, so that pretty much should secure the Seraphine into the bot lane. So we're going to see that Vayne Seraphine bot lane matchup against the Senna Sivir, or Sivir Senna rather, I guess I should say, as Xerath comes through.
Not really a super big fan of this one, but I think it can work. Yuumi hovered. This isn't going to be it. Let's talk about Xerath. Xerath pretty good versus Volibear because he just wants to run in on you. You got the E-stun available to try to slow him down. Sion is the selection for the top lane here. They're just trolling, of course, with the Yuumi pick. And what will be the answer to this Sion? It could be an Ornn angle, could be a set angle if they like that. Lots of different options.
Yeah, I think the meaty boy in the top lane, you do have the likes of the Zac as well, and then the artillery cannons on the side of really late sign up here. You have Xerath in the mid lane. Senna, of course, is going to continue to be dealing damage from range as her souls continue to stack, and that range gets longer away from the front lines of PTP. The answer, of course, in the top side looks to be a little bit of a noodle fight as Aatrox is going to be going up against the Sion. Sion's just going to be chilling and scaling. Aatrox is going to be probably playing pretty aggressive in this lane. Be interesting to see how things shake out and if Gandorfs is going to be able to be aggressive with the likes of the Volibear around the map with what their team has put together on PTP.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's hop on into the Rift, see who's going to come out on top between RLS and PTP. Very, very excited to see how this one plays out. Going back to the Aatrox and Sion lane, though, real fast, I would like to point out that Aatrox is a really effective counter pick versus Sion. You will basically never get to charge your Q as Sion versus Aatrox because of his easy access to knockups. He'll just continually cancel you out. We got a little bit of a 5-man stack here moving up towards the top side for PTP. They are just going to be walking in here. Gets warded out by Cowrie, but PTP gets the ward on the blue buff right there.
Early game information going to be critical if you're trying to play around this Zac and where he can come from the weird angles. You want to make sure you know which direction he's headed, where your lanes can be aware. Hey, this guy can be coming from a mile away. Please be careful. He's headed your direction. So I really like that the 5-man composition comes out on the red side from PTP. They get in there. They get the early vision on the blue buff. He is headed up there now, War Leader. So they're going to get this information in a moment when he shows on that buff.
Yeah, and they've traded wards too. Actually does seem like RLS put a ward on the blue buff of PTP, so they'll be knowing exactly where Gandorfs is starting as well. So nice information for both sides. We'll have to see if Gandorfs chooses to change his pathing. I think it should still be a full clear for War Leader, but because Volibear has the option for the early 3-camp gank, I think that could be something that Gandorfs could opt for as well.
As these lanes start to shake up, we see that the Sivir Senna showed early. They're going to just push that wave, get the early... Oh, they did not. Okay, I was looking at them on the minimap. But yeah, now they're going to be aggressive. They're going to try and dance around this Rap. Terror is taking a ton of poke.
That's one way to start the lane for sure. It's easy to see what they wanted to go for there, but
yes.
Raptor just standing still for too long, and he's already dropped so low. Bodes very, very well for Let's Do Vanal and Bamatide. they are going to want to ride this one out, you know, and be the aggressors in this lane if they can be.
When you play with fire, you can get burned. It looks like they wanted to get that early pressure off the lane on them so they could hit that level 2 and get that early threat in the lane against them, but it backfires. Rapterra takes a little bit of poke. He's going to have to burn through the potions early. A lot of trading coming out on this bot side. We look around the map. Xerath is already back at his tower. It looks like the Victor is pushing this wave in on him. Oh, and the wave's going to be pushing back out. Just looking at the map, it's interesting to see that the junglers are just doing their herbivore business with that little bit of jostling in the bot side. Otherwise, it's all quiet.
Yep, seems like it's going to be a full clear for both of them so far. It's going to be Gandorf's who's way ahead. Volibear's clear is insane. So probably going to be a top gank after that. Great follow-up from Aatrox up there potentially. So we'll like to see how that turns out. Another thing to note, looking at this bot lane, is that not only did Anti opt for Cleanse in this matchup, but he also started Cull as well, which will dramatically reduce the 2v2 power should it come down to it in this lane here.
Yeah, Cole Gaming against the Vayne. I'm not sure about that. I'm low-key think it's a little greedy. We're seeing Gandorf is coming around.
Yeah, he's going in here, gets the stun. Flash comes out from the Scion, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to do too much. The damage is almost there. There it is. First blood comes in for the Volibear for Gandorfs. He will be very happy to start taking the reset and spending some money.
Eerie just collecting a little cash for herself in the passive. But, you know, the Volibear does that full clear, shows on the top side as you were to... Oh.
Raptor rooted out, flash forward, there's the exhaust as well. The true damage will finish off the Senna right there. Now it's Let's Do Vanal trying to get away, stayed a little bit too long, got too many auto attacks off, and Anti is able to trade right back. It's a 1-for-1 on the bot side. Things are coming out pretty good though. I would definitely rather have that kill if you're Vayne.
You know, to quote the great Ron Burgundy, well, that escalated quickly. We were looking at the top side, we're like, oh wow, you know, we see the Volibear complete his clear. Here, I guess I'm not meant to talk. Go ahead.
It's alright, here we go. One more engagement. Smite comes in to try to heal Gandorf, so he has to flash over the wall. Anti backing up War Leader. They're getting pretty aggressive, but the Gromp actually goes over to Let's Do Vanal. They managed to secure it for PTP. Now that Cowrie's here, don't want to fight anymore though. They've secured the escape for their two members, and RLS will just be looking for the resets now.
Yeah, the kills are one thing, but the kill secured on the Gromp, that's mental edge if I've ever seen it, especially with RLS committing a lot to that play and not a lot to show for it in the end.
Definitely, yeah. I think that it's just going to be an uphill climb for War Leader from here. He's already getting out-tempoed by Gandorfs, who's starting to build up that slight gold lead there, just that slight edge. Hasn't reset, though, surprisingly, but think that he wants to start getting off the map. He's got 1,600 gold in his pocket, which is an immense amount at this stage in the game. So, you know, Boots and a Bomby Cinder on the table makes you go a lot faster. Going to get it a little bit later right there, and we'll be continuing to bumble around like the bear he is.
Yep, he's got the boots, he's got the brown bag, so he'll be moving slightly faster, get out on the map, put some pressure out there. He's got the Balmy Cinder to match up with the Zac. Zac did not, however, get the shoes. He's going to have to rely on the ability to come from the weird angles and get over the walls. Whereas, you know, Volley just do be kind of walking at you a lot of the time, and then he jumps at you. So they are going to get together here for this first dragon of the game. They're going to clear out this ocean unless it looks like RLS is here to play.
Yeah, Cowrie has teleport available as well. They can join. Dragon just going to get slowly DPS down by the PTP squad while Raptor and Anti threaten some poke damage. There's War Leader jumping in right onto the Seraphine though. Gets some CC off. Nobody's going down quite yet. Snaps them together. The first kill goes on a Seraphine. War Leader drops low. He's split apart in the blobs. Goes into passive form. It's Let's Do Vanal trying to get the damage out on the Anti. Gets one. Triumph heals him up, but they will immediately fall down to Raptor Senna. 3 members left standing for RLS will claim this dragon, and let's see what happens again.
And You know what? I had no sooner had the words left my mouth. The Zac over the wall is critical here. Gets right in. They really should have known that RLS was in the area and ready to fight. They saw them headed that way, and in the end, RLS just came in here and ran them down while they were taking all this damage from the Dragon. You can't be taking fire from all these directions this early in the game and expect to come out on top. So it looks like a little bit of an oopsie from PTP, where at first they thought they had the advantage on this play and the rotation. But as soon as RLS got there, they just didn't respect it, and they sat right there waiting for War Leader to drop right on top of them.
Yeah, such a good flank from War Leader, able to position himself out of vision and just get the perfect elastic slingshot. That's going to feel really good there, and immediately starts putting RLS at a slight gold advantage, and with a Dragon on the board to get this soul rolling for them. So they're going to start to make a lot more moves. I'm sure War Leader's feeling good after that one. Maybe gonna look at a bot lane gank as soon as Raptor gets back down there. Would like to see that as well. Continue to punish Let's Do Vanal, who is in fact down about 20 CS at this point.
You know, I
Closing
think
up slowly though.
yes, certainly. I think back to last game and how things looked like they were getting a little out of hand as we see. Okay, it's all looks like it's gonna all be good there
Here's
for
the ult right
Brody
there.
H.
Kane comes out, does not manage to get the victor though. Pro DH gets to waddle away.
Not even close, baby. Walking out, you know, nothing to worry about here. But you know, what I was trying to say a moment ago was it looked like it could quickly slip out of their hands in the last game as Team A was on the tug of war back. But you know, the way I look at it now is that RLS really has it in hand for them. They're playing to the disadvantage, I would say, of PTP and how they've played and taking their advantages.
Yeah, look at the brute there. A lot of damage. Condemn stuns Anti against the wall. Exhaust comes out on the Let's Do Vanal, and it's very close there. Both summoner spells expended off of the Sivir. And Let's Do Vanal, Bamatide continuing to put up a good fight in this lane despite being down so much CS.
They've been taking the advantages that have been given to them by PTP and playing smart around those. But also, I look about the point I wanted to make is Kyria Alexion. She's just piss chilling up here, you know, doing her job. Got the Thorn Mail. Aatrox is not stacking the kills. Yeah, you do have the CS deficit, but Sion's totally chilling, honestly. So I'm really liking how RLS just sort of stabilized this early game. They're like, yeah, we're not going to let this Vayne game devolve into Murder City here.
Yeah, but that lead is going to quickly start to grow. We saw 1,000 gold difference between the two top laners, and that means that as soon as we get the Gore Drinker onto today's, it's going to be an even larger gap. I think that they'll hopefully be able to start putting some more pressure on. I want to see a good dive with Gandor's here too, getting the Volley Bear ultimate up, turning the turret off. Could be really good to continue pressing disadvantage, especially since there's been so much attention topside, but we got him going towards the mid, trying to slow down Cowrie here. Cowrie floating away. Stun will miss, and Gandor's just gets to walk right back down the river.
It is kind of surprising to me in a sense that the Volibear and the power that it can have against something as certainly immobile as a Xerath. I just have to tip my hat to Cowrie a little bit, making it look easy on this Xerath to an extent and playing pretty safe around such an immobile mage.
Yeah, and now we got Gandor showing his face down towards the bot side. Just takes a little bit of damage there. Nothing's going to come of that. Anti and Wrapped here respect the gank and will back off. Pro DH in the river too. We have War Leader on the Raptors. Could happen from that if Pro DH gets caught out, but Vanal barely managing to stay in the lane here.
So I have to pose a question to you, Ultravox. The wisdom of Twitch chat is all-knowing and all-powerful. As it looks like Pro DH might be eating some damage here.
Yeah, could be in trouble. Gets a nice little shield there from the Q, but here comes the Arcane Barrage once again. Volibear ultimate flies in, will slow him down, gets the flash out of Cowrie. Cowrie barely managing to get out.
What, bro? How?
Just
all I
not
have to
enough
say.
damage, yeah.
Yeah. The question I posed to you is Twitch chat is complaining loudly about the build path of Tadeus, if I'm reading that correctly, in the top side, the Aatrox. They know Twitch chat no like Gore Drinker. Twitch chat like Divine Sunderer. What do you think?
Sunderer? I don't know about Sunderer. I'm always a fan of Stridebreaker. I think Sunderer could be good into Scion, though. I do like I do like Stride in general in this game because the main method of mobility from Anti and Raptor is going to be the movement speed, right? So being able to slow them down might help in chasing them down. I think Sunder could be all right. Not really seeing that too commonly though, so not sold on it entirely yet.
Also, bonus round is the Eclipse, I guess. I'm a hater of. I don't think it's bad, to be clear. I'm just a hater of Eclipse Bruisers. I think it's unholy.
I mean, it's Eclipse Bruisers, it's Sunfire Assassins. We're in a crazy time period of League of Legends.
Season 12.
I don't know what's going on, but items are in shambles.
Where the item builds are made up and Zeri gets a pentakill. Welcome to Season 12, ladies and gentlemen. Presented by Riot Games.
I also watched LCS today.
Jeez.
I mean,
also, shouts out to 20 games. No, it was 15. A full 15er for 5 seasons. We had LPL 5, we had 5 in LEC, and then 5 in LCS. Shouts out to the faithful.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on today in the League world, just like there's a lot of stuff going on in this Dragon Pit. Seraphine ultimate hits one, Cowrie has to go golden. Vanel in the final hour trying to dish out the damage, gets stunned out and blown up by Cowrie though. The fight immediately turns in favor of RLS. And here comes the Scion from downtown, separating off the Pro DH from the rest of the team. Stun onto War Leader, but he still has passive. Cowrie's dishing out the damage. War Leader jumps into the backside. Xerath ult gets 1, gets 2. As the Seraphine falls, now it's the Aatrox trying to front line, cannot get too much done, and it's so clean for RLS in this 4-for-0.
Yep, a good old-fashioned scrap here. As we look at the setup here for the Dragon, RLS is here. They're taking the Dragon right in their face, and it turns out that PTP is like, let's go, boys. Let's get this in. Vanel commits, and it turns out, hey, folks, I'm in this fight. No follow-up. Everyone's on the other side of the map, and it looks like Kyrie Alexion just taking the Broadway trip downtown, shows up on the backside, and it looks like RLS is in full retreat for a moment until, the shots come out, and, Xerath is poking out the back line, and it turns out RLS wins this fight. They're there. They bring their tank in at the end. They show up 4v5, but it turns out in their favor.
Yeah, Cowrie's stun's going to be so good there alongside Raptors healing. We weren't Senna believers at first, but it turns out that it's going to turn the fight even harder in the favor of RLS. You love to see it there. Now 2 dragons up on the board for them. They're starting to knock down the plates on the bot side. Things are looking good for everybody's favorite abbreviation changing org.
Yeah, the next high staff meeting is going to be really awkward. I think Brendan's going to not enjoy seeing how much Raptor is cleaning up on this Senna. 118 for him. If we can get a soul check, can we get a soul check on Rapkench there for the Senna? It looks like we are at 49 souls. 49 souls, folks, for the Senna. So Raptor doing all right, collecting those souls. Yeah, could be worse. Bro, come on, bro. They're doing it dirty like that.
It's 14 minutes. He's only just starting to follow around Zach and get these souls. I don't know, man.
When we look at the gold, it's heavily in the favor of really late sign up here. We're seeing the bottom lane. You never want to see that when you're the Vayne with the counter pick into the Sivir. She's cash rich. She's 1v2 down here. Absolutely no Fs to give.
Yeah, but Anti in some trouble. Condemn not going to come out, though, so no big punish there. Instead, we get a nice view of the top laners whacking each other back and forth. I do think that for the Vayne counter pick, you might want to pair it with a different support rather than Seraphine. I would have liked to see something more engage-centric and try to just run down the Sivir, but it is hard. It is tough to do that as well, but could have been good. Could have been good.
To touch on your point there, when the Seraphine was picked, I don't think the Xerath had come through. I felt like this could have been in the mid lane.
Yeah,
you have the flexibility there with that. You could have left it in the mid, and you could have done something like you're saying there, with something more engage worthy that's going to be able to put some pressure on them early.
Yeah, even Lulu gives speed with W to run him down. We see that all the time with Lulu Kog'Maw. But here, check this out. Ganondorf's flashing in, gets the stun off. There's the shutdown coming in on a Cowrie. War Leader's here to try to avenge his fallen teammate. Gets the pull back, but it does seem like the Pro DH is going to be just barely staying alive. The blobs are scattered. The bear slaps them apart. Gravity well slows the blobs down a little bit more, and the shutdown is picked up by the Sports Seraphine.
Hey, let's go. Some cash back in the pockets for PTP. Trying to keep it interesting. It is still only a 1K gold lead at 16 minutes. It's anyone's game, really. And of course, we look at the top side. Shouts out to the Aatrox, absolutely putting on a pressure-filled clinic here onto the Scion from Kyrie Alexion. Gets the tower, 1,400 in the bank for him. He's going to go back. Oh, well, 1,200 for Scions. They're both sitting here a little cash-rich as they do a little noodle fighting. As Scion should be able to withstand this, no problem, no danger there. And everyone's getting back out on the map, so we're just watching noodle fight top. I think they're going to, top laners are going to go back and spend. And we'll see what happens over the next couple of minutes as we wait for Dragon to come up.
This bottom lane seems like a pretty dangerous spot for Cowrie to be versus Vanal, but a lot of poke damage going out. I feel like if Vanal plays that right, he's just allowed to run the Xerath down in the lane. Have to be very, very precise about your positioning right there. Luckily, poke damage comes in. Cowrie gets to push that all the way out, and we've got anti-parked mid having some Sivir time.
Yep, Sivir wave clear do be like that sometimes. It just is very tough, especially the outer is still up, so it's just crash and wave, crash and wave. They're just waiting this last 30 seconds as apparently they're just going to scrap it out now.
Yeah, they were looking for Cowrie there, could not find it. Great stun. It's kind of what we were talking about. Champion Select just stops the Volibear in the tracks unless the ultimate is committed, especially since it's a chem tank. You know, you might be going fast, but you're still going in a straight line eventually. There's the root out from Raptor, so big, lots of damage on to Gandwars. Cannot find their way into this fight. Pentakill Teemo, please. They're going to be cut off. They're stuck in a choke point now versus Xerath. Trying to commit onto Cowrie, though, who's in a pretty bad spot. Kyrie Alexion steps up, tries to buy space for their teammate. Cowrie trying to get out on the backside, but on the main fight, it's Anti who's putting in the work. But now, Tadeo's on the Aatrox, trying to find the backside here. Will heal up a huge amount with this Gore Drinker. Barely stayed alive, but Anti shuts him right on down. Now, Vanal's still alive. Chase Cowrie down, trying to finish this off. Gets the shutdown onto Anti, and it will be the clean up, finishing off RLS. Pentakill Team of P's, they're showing some signs of life.
I think this is against all odds, folks. You know, it looked like the RLS was in position. They had control of the river. Yeah, the Scuttle had gone the way of PTP. But this fight starts off, and it turns out Cowrie is a little disconnected. This is a bit of a scramble for RLS. The Seraphine ultimate comes across. War Leader gets a nice pull, but Tadeus is in the back line putting out extra pressure, and this divides up the fight enough where he's just disruptive enough. Vanal is not needed. Vanal was not there for a large part of the fight, and then comes in. That extra pressure is able to clean up this fight in the backside, and ProTH is going to be able to clean up on War Leader. So that is going to be a nice ace for the likes of PTP, bringing this gold lead in their favor. They are behind on the Dragons, although they should be able to clean up this Infernal, bring it to 2-1. But wow, RLS. I'm not sure what to say there. I felt like they did not need to take necessarily the fight from the angle they were at, especially when you realize Cowrie is going to be broken off from the fight. And Ultimate does nothing. But
Cowrie's positioning definitely was questionable there. I feel like that's almost happened once before, but luckily their teammates were there to save them, so it's only really now that it had a huge impact on this team fight. Got run down by Vanal. Really cannot let that happen again since they are a major damage dealer, and especially the only true magic damage dealer on the team. When everybody's building armor right now, we see that Gandwars, he's got the Warden's Mail in his pocket. We have a Tabby's in the inventory of Tadeus as well. So important for Cowrie to stay alive and continue dishing out this damage.
yeah, I hope, as I had said in the last game, it's one of those lessons you learn. I think RLS felt like the game was firmly in their control. They could play a little looser around it. They felt like if Cowrie was disconnected, they were still strong as 4. They could force the fight where they needed to for Cowrie to engage with them from coming around. But in the end, it ended up being a little greedy for them. I still feel like the gold has swung in the favor of PTP, but I feel tempo-wise, they are able to put the pressure out against PTP. It's their lead to reclaim here, but if you give them that in when PTP was behind like that, RLS, when you're 3-0, they might bleed you for it. It is still early in the season. You don't know what they're capable of with this new roster.
Yeah, it's still anybody's game. Wholeheartedly agreed. Gandorf's now flashing in straight onto Anti's face. The spell shield comes in, but it's not blocking too much. Slow is there. Nobody on PTP was in range to back up Gandorf's, and instead it just goes so wrong for them. Now Cowrie takes a little bit of damage from Pro DH. Has to back off here. A little bit more poke. And then Engaged could have been so good if just anybody from PTP was there to deal some follow-up damage. Now it seems like it's almost the same thing. Seraphine's off by herself. Landing an ultimate. I guess the kills traded out, but it just seems so questionable at this point.
We just came off of a season where PTP bled heavily in the standings, and this was looking to be a very shining game. We see
Today he's just caught all by himself. He's hitting the tower despite the many members of RLS moving down towards him, and that leaves the opportunity for PTP to get the Baron, though. So calculated.
This would be incredible if they pick this up. They seem to have no clue, no thoughts for it, as it looks like PTP is going to pick up this Baron. You know, as I was saying a moment ago, they had bled much last season. This was looking bright, and it is still looking bright for them. As long as they play smart about this, they trade that kill on the bot side for their top laner, and they're like, hey, you guys probably don't think we're going to be up here doing this. It'd be quite risky. You guys could sight it out at a moment's notice, but RLS doesn't have the sight for it, and it is going to be a PTP Baron traded across for their Aatrox, and that's going to keep them in the gold lead, 2K in their favor now as we transition over 20 minutes into 22 minutes. Early game, it was in the favor of the really late signups, but now Pentakill Teemo Please, they're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, exactly. Huge gold swing here. I think it's even better for PTP2 since they're so heavily favored in the side lane with Tadeus just starting to put the hurt onto Kyrie Alexion. Gonna be very hard for Kyrie to keep up here. Cowrie should get towered over and run down if possible. Oh, but I guess Aatrox doesn't have the Baron buff though, so yeah, actually gonna be kind of a moot point there. My bad.
Yeah, but if we look into the top side, Pro DH just solo pushing, crashes the wave there. There's absolutely no one to grab it. It's going to put a tiny bit of damage into that top inner turret, as of course the dragon's going to be coming up in a minute. They start to coalesce towards that bot side of the map, but RLS is losing control of the map here. Sivir is going to be headed towards that topside wave, which makes me really concerned. It looks like they're going to have to give this dragon up unless she clears this wave and runs straight out of base.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tight margins though. Cowrie might be getting targeted here. They do seem to be the play. We have 3 members from PTP on the bot side. Today's coming out from the mid lane. Probably want to clear that, maintain the prio that's available there, and then finally take this dragon with the full strength of your team. Have to see how they're going to play this there, though. Zach gets slowed down. War Leader's waiting in his favorite spot here, the spot that's found him so much success. Gets in on a Gandorf, and it's just obliteration. The volume is deleted from the map. Now, RLS can hop onto this dragon here and start DPSing this down. No contest from PTP at all as a result.
And, you know, no sooner had the words left my mouth. You know, we saw Anti back after clearing that wave. He completed, I want to say, the Phantom Dancer. He's had 3 items, such a strong spike, and they just absolutely just forced their way to the dragon and say, come on in. We are ready to fight you. Our Sivir is gigantic. Your Vayne is only just starting to catch up when it comes to the items.
Very ambitious ult there from Bamatide. Gets killed as a result, though. Anti takes some damage. That Sivir's doing an incredible amount of work, though. Here comes the Aatrox. Double flash from the RLS bot lane, trying to get out of here. Roar Leader splits apart in the passive. Kiri is on site now, but the gravity well is so big, stunning out the AD carries. The damage is there from Vanal, who's just barely still in this one. There's the damage. Tadeu's flashing forward, trying to finish off RLS here. Gandorfs does not have the ultimate available. There's the Zerathult, though. Kills Let's Do Vanal. Takes him down. Oh, these are just such close fights at the end of the day. 2 for 3. We'll see it again.
All right, as we look at it back, you know, they push this wave under the tower. They're starting to run back because they realize, hey, we got quite a gap behind us. Aatrox comes in from behind, gets the first slap down. We see the teleport coming in, and this fight is starting to get away from the likes of PTP. The teleport is coming in, and the Pro DH power here is giving all of the space here for Vanal to just clean up. And it looked like it was about to get away from them, but the control mage controls, and PTP does end up with the power here in the mid lane as they are able to force back RLS. Vanal will trade the shutdown over, which is unfortunate. It does go to Cowrie, but what looked like it could have been a bad fight for PTP, they're able to scrap it out, and they're able to come out ahead.
Yeah, it's all that slow-moving Raptor W as well, holding Vanal down. Look at the damage there. Tadeu's, ooh, moves out of there just barely once again. PTP can't overstay here. They really, really don't want to. Gotta pack this one up. Take what you can. I like the side wave allocation here. Pro DH picking up this wave. We'll probably get another one too, and the gold keeps on accumulating in the laners of PTP.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say, you know, there is about thousands of gold here and there that are separating individual lanes, but we have to, of course, highlight the top lane. It is 3K deficit to the Aatrox, getting close to, not hitting, but close to the Flame Horizon on the CS, and then all of the gold from the assists here. It's quite a bit of pocket change for the Aatrox. Definitely really awesome to see. What I saw in chat is, I guess, an auto-filled top laner just going off here.
Well, Tadeu's is doing a great job for an auto-filled top laner. Then Kiri's in danger of just getting run down. The Scion ultimate is stopped, but no real damage is there to follow anything up. They will just instead force that out of Kiri and continue applying pressure. Bamatide can just rotate back onto the mid lane now. Keep pushing with the rest of their team. War Leader, though, waiting around top. He's hovering, waiting to try to punish this Aatrox. The rest of PTP here is on the prowl. They're keeping Anti occupied, and now Tadeu's is going down real low. Meanwhile, Anti just immediately kills Bamatide. Tadeu's staying alive in the 1v2 on the left side of the screen here. Manages to fend off both members of RLS, and now his team has finally arrived to back him up. Will take down Kiri. Pro DH helps to clean up this wave too. Man, this is close.
Yeah, as the game gets later and later, PTP comes more and more online. We see the Raptor ult come across to start the fight, as you folks missed it in the replay, but we can see these fights developing on two sides of the map here, off to the left and the right. We see Vanal start to go off here in the side, and the Sivir picks up some kills, but Vanal is much more threatening here as PTP is picking up these kills on both sides of the fight, and it's going to be in their favor.
Definitely, yeah. Big credit to Anti for getting that 1v2. Pretty much solo double kill right there. So much damage coming out from him.
Win condition is headed
it's
there.
Just unbelievable. Basically, 3-shot Bamatide. Started dueling Gandorfs even though the Volley Bear's packing the Frozen Heart. That's insane. I can't believe it. Anti keeping RLS's hope alive here. Cowrie was off on the bot side, could not contest that. It looks like the Baron is getting started up once again for PTP.
Yeah, Frozen Heart is a mega item against this 2 ADC composition. And yet Sivir is just so stacked at this point. She absolutely is able to just rocket through that, able to get some kills before she falls. So, you know, that as the game gets later and later, Vayne is going to have more and more of an opportunity to come back in match parity with the Sivir the later this goes. PTP still scrapping it out. The kills are in the favor of really late signups, but the gold stays in the favor of PTP as we get ready for this upcoming Infernal Dragon, a possible Infernal Soul for RLS. So this is a must fight for PTP.
Definitely a must fight indeed. This could be the soul for RLS. Gandwurst takes a little bit of poke damage while he's trying to clear out the vision in the pit, but now RLS seems to be blind. Xerath, Cowrie putting in a lot of work, getting the poke off. Now War Leader on the bottom side could be looking for the engage. Chaos Storm goes out and Cowrie's deleted by the Pro DH. Starts this off so good for PTP, and they will dive on in to tear apart RLS. Vanel is just uncontested here. They're trying to run down Raptor. Such a blowout. You cannot walk up to Victor like that.
The slaughter Ultravox as we head into this replay. Blood was meant to be spilled over this dragon. We see that both teams are here in the river, and the Chaos Storm brings absolute chaos to the side of RLS. What are you going to do when you get deleted like that? And it looks like PTP is absolutely crushing them as they have to kite back into the choke point. Everyone dies just as soon as they get into the river, and PTP are going to be able to pick up this second Infernal for them and deny the soul from RLS. The gold is in the pocket of PTP. The tempo, the dangers on the side of PTP. Can RLS snag this back?
Oh man, I think it is a very, very long uphill climb. The Baron will be going over immediately after that dragon as well. It's going to be so hard for RLS to stay in this game. I think that PTP, they're firmly in the driver's seat. They're going to be able to just power down through mid, get this last inner turret that's standing there, or get this inner turret that's standing there. The rest of them are still standing on the map. Teleport comes in though, on the top side. So much damage onto Anti. Vanel rolling in, tries to finish him off. He will get the kill there. And now PTP can try once again to steamroll this. Good disengage from Cowrie, from RLS. They will continue to hold on here. They have to move back to defend versus the Baron push that is incoming.
Yeah, RLS fully on the back foot here. Soul Point was not enough. The fight did not turn in their favor. The pressure now from PTP. They got that Baron. They have the pressure on the map. And the boot is on the neck for RLS. We look at all of the kills in the pocket of the Victor, the kills in the pocket of now the Vayne. And this bot lane that was looking quite smothered on the side of PTP has just thoroughly blossomed here in the last couple of minutes, and PTP looks like Vayne is going to be backing, but they're starting to get these waves pushed in with the Baron. I don't think that this Baron is going to be enough to really get them into the absolute position to win, but the amount of gold and the amount of pressure that they're going to be able to put out with this Baron, of course with the gold you pick up from killing the Baron, there's standing gold to be had, there's waves to be cleared and pushed in. The tempo you're going to have, it's going to be quite tough for RLS to be able to fight back against this unless PTP rather plays a little reckless with this lead they find themselves with.
Yeah, I don't see PTP throwing this away too easily. They have such an easy path to victory here. Look at that damage coming out to Victor is online, everybody. Victor from Arcane. I think that PTP just, they can push all these waves in, get a nice 4-1 going like they're doing. I think this is perfect. They get the push, get the vision inside of RLS's jungle, and just choke them out of the jungle farm even further as well. They get this turret in mid, can keep on going through, and just make it impossible for RLS to play inside of their own jungle.
Well, we see the waves are pushed in. Kiri Alexion is in the top lane, and she's going to just be pushing that out. Sion, not a factor in this game. The Aatrox is an absolute demon of the split pushing, and of course, the solo lane pressure of the Victor, crushing the immobile mage now in the mid and late game of the Xerath. You got to play into this team comp, and if you have an entirely mobile backline, and you have this Sivir Senna that were looking great in the early game, but now the team looks a little scattered with their identity. Early they were making it work, but now the pieces just don't seem to be fitting together for RLS.
Yeah, they're having a lot of trouble finding the kind of fights that they want to do. It seems like Kiri is having such a difficult time being relevant. She's just getting shredded by Vanel here. I see it in the Twitch chat too. I'm looking at it. Rough draft for Sion indeed. You got counterpicked in lane. We saw the Vayne coming out very early in the draft for PTP as well. I think that it's not great. Oh, but here's the Seraphine ultimate. This could be that game. Vanel with the first kill on the Raptor. That's immediately coming out. Anti so low. Slapped down by Gandorf. And now the Pro DH is on a killing spree after taking down War Leader. Cowrie next on the chopping block will get slammed down. The last kill. Kiri Alexion falls. It's an ace for PTP, and they will be pushing all the way.
A little bit of blink and you miss it. Bamatide lying in wait there with their teammates. The Seraphine ultimate gigantic in the chokes. There's absolutely no way for it to miss when they walk that point blank into it. Nowhere to move. And that just starts off a fight that leads to a win as they push in the base and they take the Nexus. And this is going to be a win for PTP. Shuttering RLS's 3-0, making them 3-1 as they go to 2-2.
Well, yeah, good job to PTP taking down an undefeated team. Says a lot, even early on in the season. It says a lot, still a long ways for PTP to keep on going. Meanwhile, for RLS, you know, they tried a few different versions. Maybe this one didn't work out. They're still well on their way too.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like the thing from this game is that RLS has always been a team, in my opinion, that is able to learn from their mistakes. They're able to review a game and take, you know, serious critical feedback themselves, not even external, but they do. I knew they do take external interest. But what I like about this game is that PTP showed a serious killer instinct. They showed a willingness to not give up as the fight, or the game rather, looked like the fights were not going their way. The Vayne win condition, which I thought was early, supposed to put the pressure on this Sivir, in the mid-game finds its stride, and overall the team comes together and PTP is able to turn out this win against an undefeated RLS.
Yep. Very well done from PTP. That's going to be doing it for this match, but don't go anywhere at all. We got one more before we wrap the day up. We will be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, after yet another fantastic game, absolutely swaying back and forth, but in the end, Team Pentakill Team of Please was able to take the undefeated team, Really Late Up RLS, and make them suffer defeat for this first time. Tell me, how does that feel for you, Bamatide?
It feels pretty good. I think it's our second 2-0 week. I don't know. It's my first time on the team. But yeah, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. You were talking about it a little bit there with your score, but yeah, first week you guys went 0-2, and now coming into week 2, you're now 2-0, making it 2-2 total, having a complete switch around. Maybe a little bit of struggle in the first week, but now week 2, taking down 2 really big opponents, and just man, I gotta ask you, what was the difference between week 1 and week 2 for y'all?
Well, I played in week 2, so I did not play in week 1. I do a lot of the shot calling for us, and it makes really good players into a good team. And yeah, it's pretty easy with that. But that's the biggest change, has been added shot calling and I guess me playing support.
That's definitely fair. Having a good source of calls behind and pushing the team forward and what they need to be doing is fantastic. And I think that really showed, especially in your macro. There's a lot more movements around the map, and picking the team fights that you wanted, and even sacrificing Tadeus, I believe, to go for that Baron play really in the mid game was fantastic. So kind of looking at that, Vanel made a comment. He's had a few supports in yesterday's interview. He was talking about how he feels really comfortable with you. He found you in a solo queue game, he said, and what's it like? One, randomly finding some guy in solo queue, trolling your way, winning some games, and then joining the tournament and stepping into this scene.
It's good. He and I play a very aggressive limit testing style where we don't care if we die. We just basically push to the max, and it's very rare to find in solo queue. It's kind of like the correct way to play the game, and not many people do it, even at like LCS level. So we got along really well, and then he just asked if I wanted to play the tournament, and I said sure.
Awesome. Well, I mean, if it works out, it works out. And we're glad to have you here. Glad to have you in the interview. Now taking 2 games, 100% win rate, it sounds like, for you. Can we expect that going forward? What's the PTP end of season score going to be?
Yeah, I mean, we're like a train right now, I guess. We're just going to keep, trucking along. There's nothing really going to trip us up, I don't think. It's pretty easy.
Fair enough. Well, that's definitely exciting. We've got one more game coming up. I don't know how much you paid attention, but it's going to be Team INT, now the only remaining undefeated team, against Cloud9. What are your thoughts on how that game, how that's going to go?
Well, they're going to win, and they're going to lose to us.
Fair enough. You heard it here, everyone. Well, thank you, Bamatide, for your time being here with us, giving a little bit of insight what it's like to be a PTP. So we're going to go ahead and throw a quick break, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right into our last game. Go ahead and check out the Connect, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, clear.
I'm gonna shut my mouth when you say what's on your mind. I can see the pain in your eyes. First I'm left, then I'm right. Don't know how to keep my calm. Baby, don't you tell your lies. Let me say thank you for all this time, babe. I've been loving every time I could call you mine. I don't know why I'm being the one feeling stupid. I'm feeling stupid now. No. So now it's time for the goodbyes. Everything dies while the sun rises. Oh, you're alive. It's time for the goodbyes. Everything dies while the sun rises. Oh, you're alive. Oh, you're alive. I'm gonna shut my mouth. Cause you